Plenty of testimony today in the DUI manslaughter case against John Goodman. The prosecution rested its case today, and the defense has already called several key witnesses.
News Channel 5 anchor Jay Cashmere is leading our team coverage of reporters and producers at the courthouse. Jay, what's the latest?
Michael Kelly, a big day as we enter week 3 of the trial, the DUI manslaughter trial of polo mogul John Goodman. Today was a big day where the tide turned, as you mentioned. The defense now will sink their teeth into this case. The prosecution rested earlier in the day, and it was a big day because the defense, as we noted from the opening statements, they have a lot of key points they need to prove here. 3 points to the fact that John Goodman's Bentley malfunctioned that night of the crash. John Goodman suffered a concussion on the night of that crash, and the fact that John Goodman drank after the crash. Those were big opening statements that they made, Roy Black made during the opening statements, and this is the time period where we're going to see those points defended, and we already saw it today. A medical doctor took the stand today speaking on concussions. Now, prior to the state resting its case today, they brought up Palm Beach County's chief medical examiner, and this was a powerful testimony today, due in part because the medical examiner released photos, the autopsy that he conducted on Scott Wilson. We saw photos of Scott Wilson's body. Those photos were given to jurors. They were able to see this. Of course, a gut-wrenching and emotional day for Scott Wilson's family as they watch this. My colleague, News Channel 5's Alex Sands, is covering this gavel to gavel alongside on the other side of the Palm Beach County Courthouse, and he joins me now with a further breakdown of those key components that we saw in the court proceedings today. Alex.
Well, as you said, Jay, this day brought an end to the prosecution's case, the beginning of the defense's case, and much of his day was spent, at least the first part of it, going over very specific, very technical information, specifically aspects of the investigation, how well it was done, how well it wasn't done, the investigators themselves, how specific they were with what they collected the night of that crash, also going to the technical aspects of this. Were things properly calibrated? Were those speed tests accurate? But it was earlier today what the defense, or rather what the medical examiner told the jury, that for a time today gave many people here at this courthouse pause.
He had a number of what we call blunt injuries, which are either scrapes, bruises, or tears or lacerations. Well, I would call them non-life threatening. They're relatively minor.
Would Scott Wilson have survived this crash?
Yes, if he hadn't drowned.
What was the cause of Scott Wilson's death?
He drowned.
And what was the manner of death?
Accident.
A key part of the defense has been that John Goodman had a concussion that night, a head injury, and that, defense attorneys say, may account for some of his behavior in the hours after the accident. That said, today in testimony, the state raises question: why was this expert witness, a neurologist who was here, not better prepared to take the stand?
All right, if witnesses describe Mr. Goodman as dazed, confused, or disoriented, would that be consistent with having a concussion?
They're classic symptoms of a concussion.
So again, you can't tell us what grade or if he even had a concussion at all.
That's true.
The earliest the defense will rest, Jay, is this coming Wednesday. The jury could have a case later on this week, but given just how things have played out here the past several days, some say it could be later this week before this case does go to the jury.
Alex Sands covering the third week of the trial, the DUI trial of polo mogul John Goodman. Alex, thank you very much. And as Alex noted, this case could be handed to a jury, presumably Wednesday or Thursday. But we do know one thing: the defense has the full day tomorrow to bring an arsenal of witnesses back up on the stand. Presumably, this could be the final week that we see of this trial. Kelly, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Jay, thank you. Stay with News Channel 5 for the most comprehensive coverage and analysis of the John Goodman trial. We'll have live reports in every newscast throughout this trial, and you can watch it live gavel to gavel on WPTV.com.